So this is the subject for this semester, organizational behavior. Now, before going ahead, let me tell you clearly that you will be getting all the notes. Notes in the sense, the PDF of this textbook will be shared in the group. So it is even okay even if you are not buying the textbook, because anyway I will be sharing this PDF, and this PDF is more than enough for this semester. And this textbook PDF, it is this one is from Manan. Okay, this content whichever I'm following now, it is from Manan Prakashan. Okay, now before that, you should know, like, when before starting, let me tell you what is this organizational behavior and how it is important to study. What is the importance of this now, especially when you're a postgraduate student? This is your second year. Postgraduate student means now more and more you are now inclined, or more and more you will be now moving towards working in an organization. So when you're working in an organization, you will be finding different types of people over there. People with different personalities, people working in different positions, people working in different hierarchical positions and all. So in this subject, we will be having an overall view of organizational behavior. What is happening in an organization, how the people are behaving individually with, or the behavior of a person individually, how they are behaving in a team, how they are working, or how they are behaving in an organization altogether as well. So that is what we are going to learn in this subject. Okay, so as I told you, I'll be sharing with you the PDF of this textbook. As of now, today we will begin the lecture. Now, organizational behavior for your semester, it's only a very little bit is covered over here for this subject. Actually, it is a very deep subject. Organizational behavior is having its we can say content. It's coming from psychology. It is related to human resource management. It is related to many other disciplines as well. So that also we will see over here. But it's a very vast subject. It's a very vast subject where every time researches are conducted. But here we are going to learn only a small part of the subject. So here you can see, I'll begin it today, organizational behavior. You can see this is the syllabus which will be covered. Introduction to organizational behavior, the concept, nature, disciplines and all. Evolution, how it started, how all this concept of organizational behavior had emerged. Then what is meant by organization design. Then comes individual behavior. Then group dynamics, group behavior, and different challenges which are there now in this field. Emerging challenges. Emerging challenges will be including about stress management, organizational culture, workforce diversity, like that. So this is the syllabus which would be covered for this semester. Okay. Now moving ahead, we'll just begin today. What is organizational behavior? Organization. Here you can see what is this organizational behavior. Very simple. The subject is very simple for you, because we are not going into details over here. We are not going in depth into the subject over here. So in that sense, we can say that the subject will be very easy for you people to understand. The language which is used over here is very simple. Okay. Now let us see the meaning of organizational behavior. Organizational behavior is the study and application of knowledge about how people as individuals and as groups act within organizations. It helps to identify ways in which people can act more effectively. So it is a study about the people behavior. Organizational behavior, we can say that it is a study of people behavior, how people is behaving individually and how they are working in as a team, how they are behaving in an organization. It's basically how they are behaving, how they are dealing with the people. So here you can see again the definition: study and application of knowledge about how people as individuals and groups act within an organization. Now here there is another one very good definition according to Robbins. Stephen Robbins is a very famous person in this field who have written so many textbooks on this particular subject of organizational behavior. So according to Stephen Robbins, organizational behavior, it is a field of study that investigates the impact that individuals, groups, and structure have on behavior within organizations for the purpose of applying such knowledge towards improving an organization's effectiveness. So it is the study of basically people, how they are behaving, how their behavior is impacting the organizations, and how such behavior can be used in order to improve the effectiveness of an organization. One another simple definition which is given over here is it can be defined as the understanding, prediction, and management of human behavior in an organization. So every time here you can see the term human behavior is continuously used. So this concept, the organizational behavior, is concerned with human behavior, employee behavior, people behavior who are working in an organization. In an organization, as I told you, we will be finding different types of people. There will be like we can categorize them in age wise, we can categorize them. We can categorize them gender wise, male, female, and others. Of course, we should include others also nowadays. Then we can find people who are coming from different areas, cities, rural areas, and also all these people are different individuals. Their behavior will be different. The way I am dealing with one individual may not be the same way how I am dealing with another individual. So the study about these things, all these things are coming under organizational behavior. So here you can see there are different levels over here. As I told you, it will be studying the individual behavior. It is concerned with the behavior of individuals within an organization. Interpersonal behavior, second one. Interpersonal relationship means behavior between two employees when they are interacting with each other. Like for example, you take in a class itself, how you are behaving in the class. That is individual behavior. Maybe you might be a very talkative student. Maybe you might be a very silent student, and maybe you could be an extrovert. Maybe you could be an introvert. Maybe you could be a very helpful student, anything. That is individual behavior, individual behavior. Now, interpersonal behavior means when you're dealing with your friend. OB aids managers to understand the relationship or the behavior of two employees when they're interacting with each other. When you're interacting with another person, what kind of behavior is being exhibited? What kind of behavior is being shown over there? That is interpersonal behavior. Then, behavior within groups. OB also studies the behavior of formal and informal groups in an organization. In detail, we will be learning about groups, group decision making, types of groups and all. But still now I'll just tell you what is meant by formal and informal groups. Formal groups are made officially in an organization, like committees, staff working committees, or any other committees and all. But informal groups are friend groups or friendly groups which comes out of friendship, out of common interest and all. So this how you are behaving in a group also will be studied. Then intergroup behavior. Managers examine intergroup relationships also when there is a need to coordinate the efforts of two or more groups, because many times in an organization we can see there will be so many different number of groups, different number of teams and all. A team and B team, they all will be having so many members. What is the relationship or how they are interacting within the groups? That is behavior within groups. How they are interacting between the other groups. That is intergroup behavior. Team members in A, team members in B. How they are coordinating their efforts, how they are behaving here. All this comes under intergroup behavior. Then comes interorganizational behavior. OB examines the interorganizational relationship with respect to merger, joint venture, etc. Mergers and joint ventures and all happen when either it could be due to financial reasons, one company is taking over another company, or any other reasons, the companies may decide to merge. The companies may decide to become one company. In such cases also, the organizational behavior studies about the behavior of the people. So these are the different levels where human behavior is studied. As an individual, it is studied. Now you can understand a little bit of psychology is involved over here. Human resource management is involved over here. It is scientific study is involved over here. Okay, so it is quite multidisciplinary, we can say. Organizational behavior is multidisciplinary in nature. So there is individual behavior, then interpersonal behavior, then behavior within the groups, then intergroup behavior and interorganizational behavior. Now, next we will see the nature and characteristics of OB. The nature and characteristics of OB, it explained, the first point itself explained that it is interdisciplinary in nature. Interdisciplinary means it is multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary means it is having the influence of various other disciplines as well. It is multidisciplinary in nature because it integrates the behavioral sciences with other sciences as well, so that people and organizations can be studied better, understood better. The major disciplines which are contributing or which have contributed to organizational behavior include, as I told you, psychology, sociology, anthropology. Anthropology is the study of human beings, ancient human beings and political science. Then all these things are coming, or they all have contributed to the study of organizational behavior. Psychology is related, like psychology means about when we're talking about stress management, when we're talking about leadership, motivation, and all, psychology is coming over there. So most of the organizational behavior theories and all, it is just like a give and take. It is multidisciplinary. So much of our understanding of organizational culture and all, it is due to the reason of different work of different anthropologists. Anthropologists are the people who study about human behavior. Similarly, political science. Political science has also contributed to organizational behavior. So it is, first point is, it is multidisciplinary in nature. So then comes, here you can see there is interaction of theory, research, and practice over here. Organizational behavior involves theory. It also involves research because continuously research is happening over here, continuously studies are happening over here, and it also involves practice. So it is growing every day. It is a theory which involves, sorry, it is a area or it is a discipline which involves theory, research, and practice. That is the second point. Then comes goals. Goals means aim. We know it could be aim, it could be objective. So most of the sciences are having different goals, like to describe a situation, to understand the situation, to predict, to control, and all. Same way, organizational behavior is also having different goals. Like we can see over here, OB tries to understand how people are behaving under a variety of conditions. Because I told you from beginning itself, I'm saying you that individuals could be different from each other. Individuals are different from each other. The way I am behaving and the way you're behaving will be completely different, because each of these individuals are born differently. They will be behaving under a variety of conditions in different ways. So organizational behavior tries to understand why people are behaving in this particular manner. Why some people are always stressful, why some people are not getting stressed up so fast. Then it also tries to make an attempt to understand or predict future employee behavior. It also tries to control some human activity at work. So we know that human resources are considered as one of the most important assets in any organization. You might have heard about it. Very important assets of every organization. So controlling human beings is not an easy task. It's a very complex activity. So organizational behavior plays a very important role in understanding how to deal with the people. Then it also involves with group, as I told you, people. It focuses primarily on people. We can see that, of course, technology has advanced. We can say that there is more and more usage of information and communication technology nowadays. Sophisticated tools are being used. Still, all these elements are considered important because they are all related to the people. ICT is important, but we need somebody to apply these ICT technology, isn't it? We need somebody to use it. So that is why people is very important. Then it also focuses on group or individual behavior. That is, as I told you, it could be either when you're as an individual, when he or she is working in an organization, or when he or she is working in a team or in a group, what kind of behavior they are exhibiting. So be it the individually or be it part of a group, however they are behaving, it is having a direct bearing. Direct bearing means it is having a direct influence on the performance of the organization. Sometimes you can see that people individually, they will be very silent maybe, but in a group they might be coming forward. When they have similar like-minded people in a group, they might be contributing better. So whatever type of behavior they are showing, it is having a direct influence on the performance of an organization. Then the behaviors are directed at different parties. Now you have to understand that an organization, or in an organization, there will be several stakeholders. Stakeholders are different, shareholders are different. Definitely you might have learned about shareholders and all. Stakeholders are different. Stakeholders are those people who are somewhere connected with an organization, like directly or indirectly. In that sense, we can say that customers, suppliers, dealers, retailers, all these are, we can say, these are all stakeholders, society and all. So organizational behavior also studies how people are, or how the members of an organization is contributing, or how they are dealing with other people as well, like how they are dealing with the stakeholders as well. Then OB also is concerned about employee and organizational needs. There should always be a priority to see the employee's requirements, as well as it takes into consideration whether it is actually required, or if employee is saying that I need to be paid more, the employee is saying that I need my working hours lesser, then it actually, the organization should try to consider it if it will help to improve the productivity in an organization. So there should always be a balance between organizational productivity and employee satisfaction, because employees are considered as the internal customers. Of course, we know that customers are known as the king of the market and all, and we should never try to miss out a customer. Anybody can be a customer. All these things we know that. Now, same way, employees are considered as internal customers. So it is very important to satisfy the internal customers as well. Now, moving to the next one, different goals of OB. OB helps in understanding, as I told you, every time you remember, organizational behavior is concerned with people. It's concerned with individuals' behavior, group behavior, organizational behavior, everything. So every time the goal will be to improve the productivity. Productivity is the ratio of input and output. So productivity is again very important aim for organizational behavior in order to improve the productivity. That is more important. And we can say that how to do it. Productivity explains the relationship or the ratio between input and output. So output should be important. Output in the sense the result what we are getting should be important. Then, so always the aim should be to raise the productivity. It also helps to reduce the absenteeism. Absenteeism means the tendency to stay away from the work. Or absenteeism refers to the failure on the part of the employees to not to report to work. That is, it could be a regular practice with some people, like deliberately they may be staying away from the job, deliberately they might not be reporting to the job and all. So this may have actually hamper the working of an organization. Like we can say that it will cost a lot of money when an employee is becoming absent. It not only affects that particular employee, but also it will affect the other employee, because when one employee is becoming absent, the burden of the work will be up to the head of the other employees. So at the same time, we cannot completely avoid absenteeism also. Many cases we can say that there could be genuine reasons for which the employees could be absent. Now, many times we can even say that employee absenteeism may be beneficial for the employees, because sometimes the workload could be so high that the employee is not able to concentrate or focus on the work, and the employee gets tired of it. The employee might be stressful of it, and he or she might definitely need a break. In such cases, we can say that definitely taking a break or staying absent could be a good thing for the organization. Only in cases where the employee is not able to give the maximum. Then study of OB also will helps in understanding about employee turnover. Turnover means quitting the organization or removing or permanently leaving the organization. That is permanent withdrawal from an organization. It could be voluntary or involuntary. Voluntary means when the employee, मतलब जब एक employee खुद से job छोड़ के जाते हैं, that is voluntary. And when an employee is purposefully or forcefully, when the employee is asked to quit the organization, that is involuntary. So again, जब भी employee turnover ज़्यादा होते हैं, that also will affect the company's working. So every time the company should see that employee turnover is less, क्योंकि employees को लेके आते हैं, employees को select करते हैं, hire करते हैं, उसके बाद employees को काफी अच्छे से training देते हैं, and all these things are involving lot of cost. And suddenly when an employee is leaving the organization, it will affect the smooth functioning of an organization, especially when experienced people are leaving. So here also many times we can say that employee turnover need not always be in a negative way. Sometimes it could be a blessing in disguise, क्योंकि कभी कभी क्या होता है, एम्प्लॉयज जो काम करते ही नहीं है और वो लोग को निकालते हैं या वो लोग खुद से ही जॉब छोड़ के जाते हैं, दैट कुड बी अ opportunity for giving employment for a new person, for some other person who are freshly motivated, or we can say who are having fresh ideas and all. So that time also, but overall we can see that the companies should see that the turnover rates are not increasing, and they should ensure that the right people are continuing in the organization and the organization's activities are working, happening smoothly, and let the inefficient, ineffective people leave. So all these things are coming under organizational behavior. There's something known as exit interview. Exit interview. Exit interview is conducted in many organizations. Like, initially when you are applying for a job, interviews are conducted. Interviews are conducted when you're applying, okay, for getting selected, for getting hired. Now, there is also something known as exit interview. Exit interview happens when the employee is leaving an organization. And why this is done? During exit interview, we can come to know why the employee is leaving. There could be many reasons why an employee is leaving an organization. There could be, personal reasons, like he might be, or it could be career based reasons, like he or she might have got a better job which is offering a better salary, or it could be any reason. So exit interview actually helps us to understand why these employees leaving, and if the mistake is with the organization, they can try to understand and they can try to correct that mistake, especially when experienced right people are leaving the organization. A study could be conducted on that. That is the turnover. Then there is something known as organizational citizenship. What is this organizational citizenship? Now, organizational citizenship means the behavior, discretionary behavior on part of an employee, which is not part of his or her formal job requirements, but in fact promotes the effective functioning of the organization. That means sometimes we can see employees in every workplaces where, of course, every workplaces nowadays workload would be there. Sometimes the people will be working more than what they are supposed to do. In today's workplace also, we can see that people where jobs are done increasingly team, and there are certain employees who are good citizens. Good citizens means they work for the company. They keep their company in the top priority. Like, they do things which are extra for the company, like which are beyond their job. That is volunteering for extra job activities. They avoid unnecessary conflicts. They show care for organizational property. They try to follow the rules and regulations of the organizations, and they tolerate the organization. Like, in case some mistakes happen, in case there is some delay, maybe for example 1 or 2 days delay in the salary, some kind of small instances are there, that they are ready to tolerate those problems. And organizational citizenship can be found quite commonly with experienced employees who are voluntarily ready to work with the company. They are ready to give a positive vibe to the people who are working over there. That is again a goal of organizational behavior. Then definitely job satisfaction. How the employee is satisfied. Attitude of the employee towards his or her job. It is normally believed that satisfied employees are definitely more productive. Definitely we know that. A dissatisfied employee means he or she is not giving the maximum to the company. And higher job satisfaction means lower employee turnover. It also means lower absenteeism, because when an employee is satisfied with the job, satisfied like when it comes to salary, when it comes to the working conditions, maybe when it comes to the fixed working hours and all, when an employee is satisfied, then there is no question of thinking about quitting or even searching for any other job. So he will there are chances that he will not even look for another alternative, and there's less likely to quit the job. But at the same time, if an employee is dissatisfied, it could be due to many reasons. Dissatisfaction can be happen due to maybe low salary, maybe poor working conditions, maybe that employee is overqualified for the job, maybe they are underqualified for the job, maybe the work which is given is over, work which is given is less, maybe the job is not challenging, maybe the employee, even after putting lots of efforts, he or she is not getting recognized, is having conflicts with the supervisors and all. Like, so many reasons could be there where an employee could be dissatisfied. And when an employee becomes dissatisfied, there are high chances that absenteeism also will be there. And This also need to be looked upon. Then, so these are all different goals of behavior. And similarly, we can say that this is the same thing which is being repeated under goals of organizational behavior. Describe the behavior, understand the behavior, control the behavior, and we can say that 4 important goals to understand. Here you can see. First one is to describe the behavior shown by an individual. What type of behavior, how individuals are supposed to behave in a particular situation, how it is to be communicated to the top management, description of the behavior, that is job description. Or we can say how to behave in a particular situation, understanding the behavior, why a person is not behaving in this particular situation in this way. When an employee is given a work, why that employee is not able to complete within that deadline. So that is trying to understand the behavior. Predicting the behavior. This is again a very important feature, very important quality which managers should possess. They should have the capacity to predict the behavior of the employees. We can easily do it, especially when employees are quite committed to their work. We can understand that they will be behaving in that same way. We can expect productive results from these people. Then to control the behavior, when an employee is not behaving properly, try to change the behavior. How can it be done? Sometimes an employee is not able to do up to the mark. Sometimes the employee is feeling that employee's contribution to the organization is considered as less. Try to know what is the reason for that. It could be because the employee is not able to do that particular job, or the employee is not having the knowledge, employee is not having the capacity to do that particular job. In such cases, trainings can be given, guidance sessions can be kept, or they can be made to work in a team and learn how others are working. So many such things can be done in order to control the behavior. So organizational behavior is basically about people behavior. As I told you, as an individual, how they are working, in a team, how they are working, the entire organization, how they are working, and overall, what is their contribution to the organization. So here you can see, it is a tool for human benefit. It's a human tool for human benefit. And studying people is not so easy. Studying people is very complex because human mind is very complex. People can react in different ways in different situations. Maybe sometimes we can see that maybe similar type of situations hota hai, fir bhi they might be reacting in different ways. So it's quite complex to learn and study also about human behavior. Now, why this is important? This one more topic we can cover now. Importance of OB. Definitely, it will help to understand employee behavior, as I told you, understanding employee behavior, and predicting and controlling. The same topic is being repeated over here. And how it can be done. There are various tools which could be used to change the behavior of the employee. The employee could be motivated. The employee could be given some words of recognition. Employee could be motivated and all. This will definitely help to bring a positive change in the behavior of the employee. It will also help in increasing the productivity, then reduction in absenteeism, then even reduction in employee turnover, help to give or help to show that organizational citizenship is there. Like we can see such people in every organization, no? Like those people are people who are working more than what they are supposed to do. They are doing this because they are a loyal employee to the organization. That is what is written. Nowadays, organizations even require such people who will do more than what are their usual job duties. They are giving their maximum over here, and that shows their commitment and their dedication towards the organization. That is organizational citizenship. Then same point, OB helps to know about the job satisfaction of the employees. It also helps to maintain or understand working relationships in an organization. Working relationship is again very important. Many times we can see that the relationship between the superiors and the subordinates, there could be a frictional relationship. There could be a good relationship, there could be a bad relationship also. And if the relationship with the superior is not satisfactory, that itself could be a very important reason for job dissatisfaction. So OB helps to understand desirable working relationship among all the members in the organization. For this, authority and responsibility should be clearly defined. And there should be clear lines between authority responsibility, between superiors and subordinates and all other departments. And Apart from that, it also helps to maintain a good relationship with other stakeholders. I told you stakeholders. Stakeholders involve customers, shareholders, and other people who are benefiting from this particular organization. So a good organizational behavior will definitely help in building goodwill in the market. It will help to earn a good name in the market. So this is about the introduction part of organizational behavior.